So today, we're gonna pull back the curtain and really look at how a movie scene gets made. We're talking from that first spark of an idea all the way to the final polished frame you see on screen. It's an incredible journey from pure vision to reality. I mean, you've seen it a million times, right? That perfect shot, that mind-blowing special effect. But have you ever stopped and wondered, what does it really take to make that happen? What are all the hidden steps and, the secret ingredients that bring it all to life? Well, it's this amazing mix of pure creativity and some seriously down-to-earth practical stuff. We're talking rules, technology, and a whole lot of planning. So let's break it down. All right, section 1, vision meets reality. Every great scene, every amazing movie, it starts with a simple, powerful idea. But turning that idea into something you can actually film, that's where the real work kicks in. It all starts with a feeling, a gut-level goal. Take Dave Grohl's movie, Studio 666. His whole vision came down to this. I wanted it to be scary, funny, and disgusting. That's it! That simple phrase becomes the North Star for the entire crew, guiding every single decision they make from that point on. But okay, that's the big, fun, creative idea. That vision has to slam right into reality. And yeah, that's the, let's be honest, less glamorous part. We're talking checklists, rules, and some serious planning. Let's take something like a drone shot. You want that epic sweeping view, right? Well, before that drone even gets off the ground, you've got a whole checklist to run through. And this isn't just a nice to have list. It's about safety. It's about making sure the equipment works. It's absolutely essential. And it's not even just about the drone itself. You have to check your airspace. Are you near an airport, a school? You've got to use apps like AirMap to make sure you're flying legally and safely. It's kind of funny, right? To get that feeling of total creative freedom, you actually have to operate inside a pretty strict set of rules. Okay, so once all that prep work is done, then the fun begins. Section 2, painting with light and motion. This is where the artists really get to play. The camera starts rolling, and they literally start painting a picture, using light and movement to tell the story. And here's a secret that all the best cinematographers know: simpler is almost always better. Think about it. A nice, smooth, deliberate camera move pulls you into the story. But if the drone is just zipping all over the place, with tons of twists and jerky movements, it just screams, "Hey, look at me, I'm a drone," and completely breaks the magic. And that same idea, that less is more, it totally applies to lighting too. So check out this scene. It feels like a cozy, late evening, doesn't it? Well, get this. It was actually shot at 5 o'clock in the morning. Filmmakers are always cheating time like this to get the perfect mood, and light is their #1 tool for pulling it off. And it's never just one light. Look closer. To create this one simple mood, they're actually using 3 different lights, and each one has a very specific job. You've got the motivated light, which is a big, bright bulb hidden in the tent, pretending to be that little toy lantern. Then you've got a fill light bounced off the ceiling, just to soften up the shadows and make it feel natural. And see that lamp in the background? That's a practical light. It's just there to add depth and make the room feel like a real, lived-in space. Which brings us to this quote from cinematographer 𝐂𝐻𝐋𝐿, and this is so important. He says, "The shadows are just as important as the light. It's not about flooding a scene with light. It's about crafting the darkness, deciding where those shadows fall. That's what creates depth, mood, and tells you exactly where to look. It's an art form." Okay, section 3, creating the impossible. So sometimes the story needs something that you just can't film in the real world. That's when the visual effects artists step in to literally build the impossible, 1 pixel at a time. Just look at this devil face effect. It might flash on screen for maybe 2 seconds, but the amount of work that goes into it is just staggering. You have to track the actor's face perfectly, build a whole 3D model, render it out, and then painstakingly blend it onto the footage. We're talking hours and hours of work for just a handful of frames. It's incredible. But here's the cool part about modern filmmaking. It's not always just one or the other. It's often a blend of practical, real-world effects, and digital magic. In Studio 666, they did this perfectly. The scary shadow people? That started with actual actors in black suits on set, then VFX artists came in and added all the ghostly smoke. The swimming ghosts? Those were real puppets in a water tank, with digital light trails added later. It's this perfect partnership between the physical and the digital. So, section 4, assembling the puzzle.
You've got all your pieces, right? The epic drone shots, the beautifully lit scenes, the mind-bending visual effects. Now comes the most critical part, putting that entire puzzle together in the edit.
And man, you have to see how much this process has changed. The old way wasn't that long ago. It meant physically shipping hard drives and editors waiting days to see the footage. But on Studio 666, look at this workflow. They're creating the dailies right there on set. The editors have the footage in a matter of hours, not days. And they're not editing with clunky, low-res files. They're working with the beautiful 4K originals from 3 different continents, all thanks to the cloud. It's a total game changer.
And we're not talking about a small indie film here. We're talking about almost 300 visual effects shots, all managed through the cloud. Think about what that means. The director can literally be on his laptop, circle a part of the frame, and type, "add more smoke here," and an artist halfway across the world sees that note instantly and can make the change. This isn't the future of filmmaking, this is how it's being done right now.
So, Section 5, the details tell the story. We've gone through all this stuff, the checklists, the lights, the crazy technology, but it begs the question, why? Why go to all this trouble? Well, it all boils down to one final, powerful idea that ties everything we've talked about together. And that's the power of a single, meaningful detail. Okay, I know what you're thinking. A pair-on. What on earth does a traditional Kashmiri robe have to do with drone checklists and devil faces? Just stay with me here. On the surface, yeah, it's a piece of clothing, but it is so much more than that. I mean, just look at the history behind this one garment. It goes back centuries. It tells a story of culture, of conquest, of how fashion and tradition adapt over time. So when a filmmaker decides to put this robe on a character, they're not just choosing a costume. They are instantly layering hundreds of years of history and meaning into a single shot. And that right there is the whole point of everything we've been talking about. The decision to meticulously follow a drone checklist, the choice to bounce a tiny bit of light off a ceiling to soften a shadow, the decision to put a character in a farang instead of, say, a hoodie. None of it is an accident. Every single element you see in a frame is a deliberate, conscious storytelling choice. Absolutely nothing is there by mistake. From that first big vision in the director's head down to the smallest prop you can barely see in the background, it is all working together to create meaning. So I'll leave you with this. The next time you're watching a movie, or even making something of your own, look closer. Every frame is telling a story. What are the details in yours saying?
Now we talk about horror movies.
Or about how fear is made. I mean, literally engineered. And we're gonna break down how the tricks used in a fancy recording studio are actually, well, eerily similar to the ghost stories we've been telling for centuries. All right, let's jump right in. This quote from sound designer Curtis McDonald, it sums it all up perfectly. The whole point, right, is to create something so immersive, so chilling, you literally can't turn away. But how? How do they actually pull that off? You know, the difference between just a story and one that terrifies you, it's all about the design. I mean, just look at this. On the left, you've just got words on a page, but on the right, that's an atmosphere. It's that careful, deliberate layering of sounds. You know, the wind howling, a knock way off in the distance, that takes a simple scene and just injects it with pure dread. So to really get this, we can turn to an expert. Sound designer Curtis McDonald, he kind of breaks down the architecture of audio horror into a few key principles. And this is the exact toolkit we're going to use today, not just to look at modern sound design, but to dissect some really ancient folklore too. Okay, so it pretty much boils down to 3 core ideas. Step 1, you build the world. You've got to create that unsettling environment that gets the listener on edge. Step 2, you craft the monster. You introduce the threat and give it this truly unhuman voice. And then finally, step 3, the unspoken dread. That's the deep, psychological stuff that you feel more than you actually hear. All right, let's start with that first tool in the box, building the world. Because think about it, before you can drop something terrifying into a scene, you have to build the stage for it, right? And that all starts with one thing, ambience. So in sound design, ambience is your foundation. It's everything. It's the low hum of the fluorescent lights, the sound of the wind rattling a window pane. It creates what designers call the calm before the storm. Essentially, you're setting up a baseline of what's normal, so that when something breaks that normal, like a sudden knock or a single footstep, it's way more jarring. And this is where our case study comes in, and it's a brilliant example. The landscape of Kashmir, it's breathtaking, right? People call it paradise on earth.
and that serves as the perfect calm before the storm. You have this baseline of absolute beauty and peace, which makes the spooky folklore lurking just underneath the surface that much more terrifying.
And what's really fascinating is how the natural sounds of these places become the source of the horror. You take the 𝐿𝐎𝐋𝐋𝐁 forest, all dense and misty, or Kuní Nala, this incredibly isolated and treacherous highway, or the deep, remote quiet of the 𝐼𝐻𝐻 Valley. These aren't just pretty backdrops. No, they are the real-world ambient tracks that these scary stories are built on. Okay, so our stage is set. The atmosphere is nice and tense. Now what? Well, now it's time to bring on the monster. And every single monster worth its salt has to have a voice. In a modern studio, a sound designer might take, say, a simple human growl. They pitch shift it down, maybe layer it a few times, and all of a sudden it sounds, as Curtis McDonald calls it, other-humanly. It's not quite animal, not quite human, it's just wrong, menacing, unnatural. Well, guess what? Kashmiri folklore has been doing the exact same thing, just organically, for centuries. Just take a look at some of these local spirits. What's so interesting is that each one of them uses sound as its main weapon. You've got the Rantas, who lures men with this haunting, mournful wail. Then there's the Brahmachoch, using the false promise of light to trick lost travelers. But the most terrifying one, for my money, it's the Wai-Woof, because it weaponizes the one thing you're supposed to be able to trust, the voice of a loved one. I mean, the Wai-Wolf is a perfect example of folklore as sound design. This isn't some big physical monster you can fight. Nope, it's a vocal one. It's a predator that preys on our most basic human instinct, to trust the voices of the people we care about. It's basically a phantom engineered entirely around the horror of being deceived by what you hear. But you know, the most effective kind of horror, it isn't always a jump scare or a loud, monstrous roar. Sometimes it's that quiet, creeping dread that just gets under your skin. It's that feeling in the pit of your stomach that tells you something is deeply wrong. In the business, sound designers call this technique underscoring. Think of it like a really low, ominous drone or a tense string sound in a movie that you might not even consciously notice, but you feel it. You feel it in your bones. The whole idea is for it to be felt and not heard, and its job is to create this constant low-level hum of anxiety. So that brings up a question. What's the source of this unspoken dread in Kashmiri folklore? Where does that deep, unsettling feeling actually come from? Well, so often it's the echo of real-world tragedy, of historical trauma that just hasn't healed. A powerful and heartbreaking example of this is the Ghaggadal Bridge in Srinagar. On January 21st, 1990, it was the site of a horrific massacre. Dozens of unarmed protesters were killed. And an event like that, it doesn't just go away. It leaves a deep, profound trauma on the collective memory of the entire region. So here's the crucial connection. When locals today report hearing screams or seeing ghostly figures on that bridge, it's not just some random ghost story. It's the trauma of the past literally underscoring the present. The history itself has become that ominous drone, a haunting that is well and truly felt, not just heard. Okay, let's put all these pieces together. When you start to look at these ancient legends through the modern lens of sound design, something really fascinating starts to emerge. What you're seeing is actually an ancient and incredibly sophisticated system for engineering fear. So yeah, when you lay it all out, it's clear. The storytellers of Kashmir, they've been master fear designers for generations. Think about it. They use the beautiful but totally isolating landscape as their ambient soundscape. Their spirits and monsters have these chilling, deceptive vocal designs that act as weapons. And the unresolved trauma of their history, well, that serves as the ultimate, most powerful, ominous underscore. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Before we had all this fancy studio equipment and software, maybe folklore itself was the most advanced technology we had for engineering terror. Maybe it was our way of processing our deepest fears and making absolutely sure that the stories that truly mattered, the traumas, the warnings, the memories, were never ever forgotten.